era of Euro Cup 3 is about to get underway in the E3 Spanish Winter Championship. So naturally, everybody excited about what this new era will give us. A massive pat on the back to everybody at Tom's, at Energizer 101, Dallara, Hancock, Cosworth for bringing us this amazing new race car, very much based out of the technology that we see in Japan. Ian Eichmans and Thomas Strauven, front row of the starting grid. Then it's Alex Powell lining up alongside the Dutchman René Lammers. 2 rows absolutely occupied by MP and Campos. Then it is the 3rd row of the starting grid for the chasing pack. James Zigotzi is back for more in 2026, and he wants vengeance after a great battle. It's going to be an interesting one for the number 12 next up in the mix. That is Pradel. Then we've got Patrick Huizenruder alongside Keanu Alazari, the boy from Dubai, for High Tech Grand Prix. Rounding out the top 10, Chris El Fagali of Lebanon alongside Gino Trappa, the Argentine, for High Tech. Then it is Heita Delanyol, the F4 Brazil champion, along with Luca Vizaronu of Romania. Row 7 of the grid, big action from Rafael Berard of Baloo and Bart Harrison, the British driver for RR. Row 8 of the grid for Yanis Steven-Adens alongside Stefan Postenjev, the British-Bulgarian, for High Tech Grand Prix. Then it's Enzo Tarvanitschkul, the Red Bull Junior from Thailand, alongside Alciferd Manetto, no doubt carrying that Lightning McQueen helmet design once again. Then it's Filippo Fiorentino for Trivex and the Chinese ace, Chuyan Pu for RR. Kasper Stucker all the way back in 21st for Technicar, expecting to challenge forward. The Angolan Lorenzo Campos ahead of Daniel Nogales. Bianca Bustamante for Palau and Philippines. Then the 2 Argentines, Giovanelli and Barbie. And then in next up we have Benjamin Beckley along with Santino Panetta for High Tech Grand Prix. And bringing up the rear of the grid, Stylianos Kolovos in his 3rd ever car race. What a big challenge it is going to be for all of the contenders as they get themselves ready for a big race battle ahead. And certainly we will see a very interesting race battle. Keep an eye on the man who is starting right up at the sharp end, Gianmarco Pradel, the 19-year-old from Sydney in New South Wales in Australia. He's had quite an incredible journey over the years. GB3 winner last year, competed in the F4 Italian, Euro 4 and Formula Winter Series battles over the previous 2 years to that. But he's back in the paddock that he started his car racing journey in F4 Spain in 2022. But on the front row of the grid, all eyes are going to be on the all-Belgian affair. Ian Eichmans versus Thomas Strauven with Alex Powell, Mr. Miami Heat, alongside René Lammers, the Flying Dutchman, and the son of the great Le Mans 24-hour winner Jan Lammers. Then Igotzi, Pradel, Huizenruder, Alazari, El Fagali, Trappa, Delanyol, Vizaronu, Berard, Harrison, Steven-Adens, Postenjev, Tarvanitschkul and Feldman Neto. Then Fiorentino, Chu, Stuka, Campos, Nogales, Bustamante, Giovanelli, Barboy, Beckley, Panetta, and at the back of the grid, Stylianos Kolovos. 3rd ever car race, don't forget, for the Greek. That's a big mission for him from the back of the field. So everyone ready to rock at the Autodromo Internacional Algarve. Get ready for the Dallara 326 to make its racing debut. All eyes on these 29 incredible drivers. Belgians on the front row, MP and Campos dominating the first 2 rows of the grid. But how's it going to go in the first race on the Algarve? Let's race at Portimão, and it's a non-stop for Eichmans! Eichmans doesn't get away, nor does Alex Powell! Unbelievable! 2 big names dropping it right at the start. And Thomas Strauven gives license to thrill up front. Absolute disaster for Ian Eichmans, who does not get away, nor does Alex Powell in behind him. So Eichmans and Powell do not move. Strauven leads from Igotzi, Lammers, Huizenruder, Alazari and Gianmarco Pradel. So as they work their way down the pit, it's going to be a tough battle to try and get through already. Is that a move from Igotzi round the far side? Trying to get through on Strauven. Oh, and straight on. That is not a good move from the 84, who's going to go straight into the gravel. Game over for Gino Trappa. Disaster for Trappa. His first race of the season is over, and he parks it in the gravel. He tried to go around the outer perimeter once he went straight on, but that's game over. Yellow flags already down at turn 5, and it's for Gino Trappa, the Argentine, who clambers from his car and already It's a disastrous start to the campaign for both Ian Eichmans on pole position and Alex Powell in third. I can tell you that Powell has got going again. Safety car, safety car. So Powell's got going again, so has Eichmans. So Eichmans is 18th, Powell is 20th, but neither driver are running from the front. So that means it is Thomas Strauven who gets to battle with James Zigotzi for the race victory, with René Lammers in third. And look, the pink machine, that's Keanu Alazari. What a great start for the Alpine youngster. So Hosenruder, Pradel, Berard, Alfagali, Delagnol and Yannis Stevenadens are in the top 10. Tarmanichkul, Feldman, Neto, Valentino and Stuka have made great starts as well. Chim in 15th, Campos in 16th. And then it is Bostachiev, Eichmans, Bustamante and Powell. And there is poor Gino Trapper, the Argentine, who cannot believe it. I know exactly what he was trying to do. He knew he was going to overshoot. He was trying to go round the outer perimeter. And unfortunately, he just missteered it. He turned a little too early, ended up in the gravel, and he is beached. Big disaster for Gino Trapper. And that's very much his first race of the season, only going as far as turn 5. So the safety car is now instructing the field to go through the FIM layout. So they use the motorcycle course rather than the race car course to give the safety teams enough time to get there into the gravel trap and remove Gino Trapper's car. So it's Agozzi who leads, Strauven in second from Lammers, Alazari, Hosenruder, then Gianmarco Pradel from Rafael Berard, good start from him, P7 in front of Chris Alfagali, and then it is Heiter Delagnol, the former champion in F4 Brazil, and then it is Yannis Stevenadens in P10 in front of Enzo Tarmanichkul from Thailand, and Alcifel Manetto in 12th place from Florentino, Stuka, Chu, Bostachiev, Campos, Eichmans, Powell and Bustamante. Gino Trapper out of the race then for High-Tech, behind the number 20 car, the number 16 car I should say, in P20, that is Bianca Bustamante. Behind her it's Dan Nogales, then Barboy, Beckley, Panetta, Kolovos. Here's a replay of the start, Eichmans and Powell go nowhere. Easy pickings then for James Zigotzi to run away and hide in front of Thomas Strauven, the Polo driver, getting an absolute textbook. So look, Eichmans does move, barely, but then finds the gear. But by then, it's all too late. And Alex Powell went with him. If you see on the far side, he wasn't the only one to stall it. In fact, 5 cars in total struggled to get away. So behind Barboy and Beckley, we also have Panetta, Kolovos, Giovanelli struggled to get away, as did Vizaronu. Here's Trapper. Oh, it looked like he had a puncture. It looked like he just lost the car completely. It veered off to the right rather than him turning left. So I think there's more to that than meets the eye. Those of you who are thinking, why would he steer into the gravel? I think something broke on the car, because in the braking zone, it suddenly veered right. He tried to turn it and it ended up going into the gravel. I think there's something very strange there for Gino Trapper. That was not the driver having a problem. That was definitely the car having a problem. So a very strange moment there for Gino Trapper. I think that was a left rear puncture for me. Suddenly veered the car out. It could have been right front suspension, as is mentioned on the stream as well. So a very strange moment then for Gino Trapper. But now the safety car will be in this lap, so we will go racing this time by. And that is great news for James Zigotzi. He wants to go for win number 3 in the Spanish Winter Championship of E3, and that will make him the most successful driver for race wins in this competition, because of course the SWC made its debut last year for E3, and it was 2 wins apiece, if you remember, for Maciej Gladish, Mattia Kolnagi and James Zigotzi. So if Zigotzi wins this one, he will be the 3rd winner in a row. Fabulous battle for the contenders to come. We get ourselves ready for even more excitement. The battles are definitely going to be exciting. The sprint race coming up for E4 later. Just saw a brief mention of that as we get ourselves ready for the safety car to retreat and leave the drivers out there to duel once again. And it's all down to James Zigotzi in the Polo on this restart. So James Zigotzi racing for Polo Motorsport, founded by the man who is now a 3-time IndyCar champion and an Indy 500 winner, one of the legends of the 21st century stateside. Safety cars in. Egozzi in front of Straubing, Lammers, Alazari and Hosenroder. This is going to need to be a very decent restart from Egozzi, ahead of Straubing and Lammers. So let's see how it all gets underway. Everybody gearing up for the restart, and it's green, 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 green here at Portimão. James Egozzi gets the flamboyant start he needed in front of Straubing, Lammers, Alazari, Hosenroder, Prodell, Berard, Alfagali and Delanyol. And Alazari's already going for it round the far side of Lammers. He locks up into turn one, runs wide, but keeps his foot in. He'll get another chance at Lammers. So that's okay for Alazari. He's lost a bit of ground. That won't be counted as exceeding track limits because he lost ground in the manoeuvre, so he'll be fine with that. Back over the crest. Egozzi, Straubing, Lammers, Alazari, and then Hosenroder's going to have a look up the inside. No, you don't. Keanu Alazari making it very clear. You're going to have to do better than that if you want to catch me out, as Tarvin Inchkull goes wide in the Red Bull Junior colours of his Campos racing car. Up the climb. There's Hosenroder for Campos, trying to work his way through the inside line. Bit of a lock up there as well from Prodell. Gianmarco Prodell trying to get his move on Chris Alfagali in the Drivex. Can he find a way around the outside? Not easy at the moment, as Gianmarco Prodell is really hungry, gets level, but can't find a way around the outside of Chris Alfagali, who drifts off wide in the curbs, and surely that's going to be enough for Prodell. They're side by side, and Prodell finishes it. Thank you, mate. Well, if you're going to make a mistake, I'll pick up the pieces. That'll do nicely. So we got Straubing, Lammers, Alazari, Hosenroder, Prodell, Alfagali, Berard, Delanyol and Steven Adens. That's your front runners at the moment. Tarvin Inchkull P11 in front of Alsu Feldman Neto. And as they come off the final turn and up the crest once again, it's going to be a really solid effort from Egozzi to get away from Straubing. Safety car procedure under investigation apparently. And also, the use of the push-to-pass on the first lap is noted for car number 16. So that's obviously something they're not allowed to do on the very first lap. They're allowed to use the push-to-pass, but not during the first lap. So that's Bianca Bustamante already under investigation from the officials. Meanwhile, the battle's already fierce up front. Lammers behind Straubing as they drop down the straight to the hairpin. Good little duel here for ninth. This is Delanyol, Steven Adens and Tarvin Inchkull. Back up the crest. Great duels from everybody further up. You can see how tricky it's getting in the mix of the battles. These cars look really racy, don't they? Up to the inside apex again. Back on the power, up over the crest and down the drop. No wonder they call this place the roller coaster. Fabulous racetrack, always gives fabulous entertainment. To the inside line. Just try to keep it on the black stuff. You do not want to get overexerting these tyres early doors. So really exciting work then from the contenders. And a safety car again. Well, James Egozzi looks like they're going to have it very easy indeed. Safety car is called again. So I'm not sure exactly what the issue is this time, but certainly James Egozzi has a much easier run of it now that the safety car has rejoined. I think it's for Benjamin Beckley. But certainly the safety car is called once again. And the Polo Motorsport man running out in first position. So I wonder what the 4-time IndyCar champion Alex Palou, who's also got an Indy 500 ring trophy and accolade under his belt, will be thinking of his team now, because we've got 3 Palou cars in the top 10 positions. Egozzi leading, Berard 8th and Delanyol in 10th, and that's the reason we're under safety car, and that is for Benjamin Beckley in the Technicar indeed. Very unfortunate then for the number 16 in the race, number 16 in the rookie race I should say. But that is a rather disappointing end then for Benjamin Beckley, the Costa Rican, making his single-seated debut, and that is a tough thing to do in these cars. And it's all gone wrong, I'm afraid, for the Costa Rican. Oh, and that's into the pits for Giovanelli. So Giovanelli in the GRS has come in as well. So that's very disappointing indeed for Gianni Giovanelli, the Buenos Aires man, from 21 years of age. All gone very wrong indeed then for Giovanelli. He spent the entire year testing with GRS in the Euro Cup and has spent the last 2 years in F3 Metropolitana, based in Argentina. We don't get to hear much about that because I don't know there's many people outside of Argentina that really follow the single-seated scene in Argentina, but it is pretty exciting. I got to spend quite a bit of time watching the F4 Brazil Championship last year because they used to share the bill quite frequently with the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil, a championship that of course has been strongly competitive for Alcio Feldman Neto, who is currently running in 14th place in this one. There, you see, I tied it all together, I joined the dots. Safety car in this lap, 18 minutes on the counter. Plus the additional lap, we're going to see a replay of what happened to Benjamin Beckley. Puncture. So there really wasn't much that Benjamin Beckley could do about it. All it takes is the tiniest bit of contact. You can see there that the right rear is already delaminating. So very unfortunate indeed. Well, Ties 777 wants to know, what do the red and blue colours in the racing numbers mean? Well, the red numbers are rookies, the blue numbers are experienced drivers. Look at how quickly this battle is going to be working the way further forward. Not sure all of those are correct, by the way, because Agozzi is not a rookie. Off we go, and Agozzi really has left it to the last minute to back everybody up. But that may come back to bite him as we go up over the crest and back onto the home stretch. And it's green here at Portimão once again. Straven's got pressure from Lammers. Lammers is going to have a look to the inside line. And we're going to go 3 wide for 5th between Hosenreuter, Pradel and El Fagali. And who's going to get there first? And it looks to me as though it is still Hosenreuter. Great battles further back. A very tricky run as everyone is giving us plenty of excitement up at the sharp end. But there's yellow flags already at turn 1. Somebody's gone as Lammers is going to look for his move on the inside of Straven. Alazari's tightening up. Then Hosenreuter, El Fagali, Steven Aidens and Todd van Nitschkel up into 8th place. Great comeback from the Thai, who is based out of Mallorca in Spain. My apologies, he's actually based in Marbella in Spain. Very different place. Safety car again. 3 safety cars in 15 minutes. Wow, what a dramatic start then to the E3. So very difficult indeed then to predict how this race is going to go if we keep getting these safety cars. But we are told there is debris on turn 1 on track. Oh, that'll be why then. That's Rafael Parard and Gianmarco Pradel. They were battling up in the top 10. No wonder Steven Aidens and Tom van Nitschkel worked their way into the top 10 so quickly. Disaster for the Frenchman and the Australian. Not what they needed at all. So that's game over for those two who were questing after P6, I think, going into turn 1. I think El Fagali ended up getting up the inside of Pradel, and Pradel must have tucked in a little bit too deep and tagged Perard or similar. We may get to see a replay of that, but it is going to be a rather awkward angle, and if you recall, the camera was actually following the cars just in front of it. We don't have a Formula 1 budget to have 14 million cameras looking at every angle of every part of the course, so if we don't have a replay, you'll just have to accept it, I'm afraid. Drivers are okay though. Race control has confirmed that both drivers are unhurt. So we've got 2 cars now being recovered at turn 1. That should be a fairly quick job because the rescue teams are already there at turn 1. They called the safety car fairly quickly. But what you have to remember is that in a field with so many rookies in it, in a brand new car, there are always going to be drivers pushing the limits. So as you can see, we are once again on the safety car for the 3rd time in a quarter of an hour. Mind you, I don't think we're quite going to reach the record that I have ever seen for safety cars in a short space of time. I will never forget the Stock Car Pro Brazil a few years ago when we genuinely, and I'm not kidding, we had in 75 minutes 8 safety cars. And that was in 2 races, back to back. And I do mean 75 minutes because in those days we used to finish race 1, have a formation lap and then go straight into race 2. We don't do that anymore. Let's have a replay of what happened. I think we're going to get to see this camera following it all the way up. So we're going to get to see what happened between Perard and Pradel. Are we just about going to get to see this? Yes, we are! Goodness me! So Perard going around the outside of Pradel. And unfortunately, they just tangled. When you've got two racing drivers, both hungry, they both want to get the corner. If neither's prepared to yield, well, you're both going to the scene of the accident, I'm afraid. We see this time and time again in single-seaters at this level. Everybody wants to be on the Formula One grid. They'll make a bid, they'll go for pro. And if you've got two very hungry newcomers, they're both going to end up in the gravel. Mind you, Gianmarco Pradel is not technically a rookie in this category because he has raced in GB3 and won a race there. And this is deemed as being the same level of car. But of course, Raphael Perard is very much a rookie for Palou Motorsport. The Frenchman, very quick this weekend, but after 3 podium finishes in F4 France last year, this is only his second car racing campaign. So, with both cars now recovered to the marshal post on the far side of turn 1, I've got a feeling this is only going to be a 2-lap safety car period. Igotzi leads, Straven second. We've got René Lammers ahead of Keanu Alazari, Patrick Hosenreuter and Chris Elfagali. The leading rookie is Thomas Straven. He's second in the race behind James Igotzi. Straven, of course, the F4 Spanish champion last year and already P2 in this one. Meanwhile, the continuing adventures of Alex Powell and Ian Eichmans. Alex Powell is all the way up to P12 and Ian Eichmans is up to P15. So expect them to keep pushing on the restart. So the safety car leads us around. Incident involving cars 12 and 33 on turn 1 noted. Yep, we all noted that one. Gianmarco Pradel versus Raphael Perard, and they join Benjamin Beckley and Gino Trapper on the sidelines. We've still got 25 cars circulating. Gianni Giovanelli did get going again, albeit a lap down. So we've got Thomas Straven in front of René Lammers, then Keanu Alazari, Patrick Hosenreuter, Chris Elfagali, Yannis Stevenadens, Enzo Tarmanitschkel, Filippo Fiorentino, and the final point is currently being scored by Alcifelma Neto, the Brazilian. Then Kasper Stuka, Alex Powell, Julian Bu, Stefan Bostaniev, Ian Eichmans is up to 15th again from Lorenzo Campos, the Angolan. Then Dan Nogales, Bart Harrison, Santino Panetta and Bianca Bustamante. Then Luca Vizarano, he's had a difficult start to the race, dropping all the way to P21. Then it is Barboy in front of Heitor Delanyol, who's dropped all the way to 23rd. Very unfortunate for the F4 Brazil champion last year. And then Stylianos Kolovos in front of Gianni Giovanelli. So are we getting safety car in this lap? Not quite, because they're still recovering the second car up at turn 1, and we would have known if we were having safety car in this lap if that were the case. You've got to remember, it's not just safety for the drivers, it's safety for the marshals and officials as well. Those incredible boys and girls in orange overalls, we cannot race without them. Their safety is just as paramount as the race cars. You could say, come on, get the safety car in and go racing, but if we're not ready, if the marshals are not back in position, if the rescue cars are not there yet, well, you just got to wait. You've got to wait another lap. Track is now clear at turn 1, so we've got to go round again because of the time it took. But I would much rather that than we had any shadow of doubt. If you're race officials, if you're race control, if there is 1% of doubt, 1% of doubt, you go round again. You do not play the let's see what happens card, because I promise you that's how we go to disaster. Nobody wants to see that. So Igotzi, Straven and Lammers, top 3. Alazari, Hosenreuter, Elfagali, Stevenadens, and then Enzo Tarmanitschkel. I wonder if Lorenzo Campos has got a problem with his transponder, you know, because that's not the first time he's tumbled all the way to the back and then reappeared in his position again. Yeah, I think Campos has got an issue with his transponder. Either that, or he's already been awarded a penalty. Not entirely sure what the case is, but I think it's going to be the latter. I think it is actually the former, sorry. I think it's a transponder issue. Safety car in this lap. And starting procedure under investigation. No further action to be taken. so there will be no penalties from the original start. So we are going to get ourselves back into race trim. And for James Zigotzi, it's another crack at this restart. It'll be the 4th start, because of course we had the original start, then safety car number 1, so that's a restart. Safety car number 2, 2nd restart. And now safety car is in this lap, so it'll be a 3rd restart with 8.5 minutes left on the clock. Igotzi, Straubing, Lammers, Alazari and Hosenreuter. Leader working his way through the final part of the sector, backing up Straubing, trying to keep the Belgian driver guessing. But the red Polo Motorsport car looking good for a restart here. Watch out for René Lammers on the restart in the orange MP. Here comes the safety car, so we'll see if James Zigotzi gets a no-holds-barred restart here. He's waiting, he's waiting, he's waiting. We are backing right up here. And the concertina effect could be vicious. Here we go! Zigotzi's dropped it. And so we charge our way up the straight. Igotzi will want to drop Straubing off the toe, and it's green, 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 green once again here at Portimão. Up to the first hairpin. Straubing pushing Igotzi, and Alazari really going for it on René Lammers. Up to the first apex. Will he get through? Yes, he does! Keanu Alazari slam dunks René Lammers into 3rd position. Great run from the Dubai Danger Man. Round the outside comes Hosenreuter. Alfagali trying to shake off Steven Aiden. Steven Aiden's trying to get that done on the inside. Has to bail out of it. Great run along the back straight. So it's now Igotzi from Straubing, Alazari. Lammers trying to get back in on the man from Dubai. But for the moment, it is Keanu Alazari holding his nerve in 3rd position as they battle side by side. Careful, boys. Watch yourselves through. Janko Bustamante trying to stay out of trouble there as well in P20 behind Panetta and in front of Vizarano and Barboy. So as they run through, they'll run up on the far side, up the crest, and then down the drop once more. Alazari trying to close up on Straubing. We've got a nice little battle brewing here. Right round the far side, this could be Feldman Neto. The Brazilian pulling off a decent run. He's loving the Dallara 326. He gets a beauty of a move past Filippo Fiorentino in the Drivex. So, Alci Feldman Neto finally starting to look like the single-seater start we knew he could be. Oh, lovely power slide move from Alex Powell to get into P10 behind. Alex Powell, 4-wheel drifting in the run to P10. Lovely job from the American. So out of the hairpin, 6 minutes left in play, plus the last lap, don't forget. Igotzi, Straubing, Alazari, Lammers, Hosenreuter. Still some tasty battles down into turn 1. Everybody trying to keep it nice and tidy. That's Alci Feldman Neto trying to close up on the top 10. There is Tarman Inchkull hustling Steven Aidens. Behind Powell, we've got Tino back into P10 again by the look of it. Powell's down to 11th. Then Eichmanns, Stuka, Chu, Bostanjev, Harrison, Panetta, Nogales and Bustamante, who's got ahead of Vizaronu. Although Lorenzo Campos is back down to 20th after some problems, so the Angolan really struggling now. Yes, he's got a transponder issue, but he is having a problem as well. Apparently the safety car procedure is under investigation. And incident involving car 91 overtaking out of the track. So that is Lorenzo Campos. So the Angolan, who's dropped all the way to P20, now under investigation for making an overtake at turn 4. That's the left-hander after the first 3 right-handers, making the move off track. So the left-hander, back on the power, looking after the radius on the inside line. Not easy to get this one judged up. Got to keep it together. Rotate down the radius and up the drop. But Igotzi has 1.2 on Straubing. That's enough to be relatively comfortable for the moment. Meanwhile, Keanu Alazari is closing on Straubing. Looks like the Alpine Junior's got a big chance here on Straubing. He's got big slipstream. Straubing has to move to cover and defend the youngster from the United Arab Emirates. Can Keanu Alazari work his way into 2nd place? He's absolutely on it here at Portimão. This very talented teenager has driven so much in such a short space of time. He's one of the most versatile drivers in this grid. He's an Alpine Junior who's won in GB3. He's won in the GT Winter Championship in GT3 last year. Dives in! Job done! Keanu Alazari, P2. What a restart! A fabulous comeback from the 18-year-old who lives on the Palm Jumeirah in Dubai. What a magnificent race he's having. Into P2. He's only got 3.5 minutes to catch up to Igotzi, but if we get one more safety car, he may not have to worry too much about it. Not P3 anymore. Now he's in P2. When he goes across the timing line, he'll be second. Igotzi leads Alazari then. Straven in third. Still looking good for the rookie win, but he didn't want to be third. He wanted to be second at the minimum. Especially now that he's got René Lammers, his fellow rookie, breathing down his neck. So Keanu Alazari, very quick in sector 1, quicker than the leader the last time round. That's including the overtake. Not quite as quick in sector 2, but in sector 3, Alazari has been pretty mighty all weekend. So we'll look at the gap as they come through. It was 1.8, well it's 1.9, so Igotzi's obviously got daylight between himself and Alazari. But I think, considering that Keanu Alazari started all the way back in 8th place, he certainly can't be miserable with P2. That's been an amazing drive. René Lammers now attacking Thomas Straven again. He's got good opportunity here. Up the climb. He'll have the slipstream now down towards turn 5, up over the top of the crest, and you can see Straven's getting nervous. Here comes Lammers. Straven to the inside to cover Lammers, who could get a switch back here. Tries to get a tight radius, but Straven's covered him for the moment, but Lammers really is going at it. The Belgian versus the Dutchman. Lammers on the far side, can't get there. He'll try again though. Lammers putting the heat right on the tail of Straven, and Hosenreuter is there for the kill as well. Here comes Lammers, inside! The two rookies lean on it through the left-hander. Straven holds it for the next right though. So Lammers will tuck back. What a racetrack is the Autodromo Internacional Algarve. Portimão is one of the real genius racetrack designs of the 21st century. I'm so glad it's going back to Formula One next year. It deserves its place on the calendar. Off the turn, back on the power, out through the hairpin. And still, it is James Igotzi who has the fastest lap, and he's just banged in another one. 1:36.2. What a lap from Igotzi. Here comes the move from Lammers. He's got the slipstream on Straven, and surely he'll get to the corner before. He does indeed. He beats him to the braking zone, in fact. Here comes Chris Alfagali, trying to go round the outside of Hosenreuter as well. Alfagali has to wait, but the Lebanese talent really is going well here. Very talented young man, sadly no longer part of the Red Bull Junior program, but that doesn't mean that the 16-year-old from Wadi Shador is going to be taking it easy here. He'll want to get the overtake. For the moment, he has to wait for his turn. So Chris Alfagali still hunting down the move. There is James Igotzi though, the man from Hollywood in Florida, not from Hollywood in California. Very different city, but James Igotzi having a great time up front. There's Keanu Alazari in front of René Lammers now, the high-tech Grand Prix driver, the Alpine F1 Junior, showcasing just why he is an F1 Junior. And there is René Lammers. Tyres are starting to slide away from the drivers now. 3, 2, 1, time is up to 0. So when James Igotzi crosses the line this time, he will go into the final lap of the first E3 race with the new Dallara 326. Off the turn, and it looks as though it's going to be Igotzi from Alazari all the way. Good effort to keep it clean in the closing stages, and a really racing drive from Keanu Alazari as James Igotzi goes into the final lap, and he will become the only driver thus far to win with the old generation and new generation E3 car, and he will become the most successful Spanish Winter Championship E3 driver over these 2 seasons in terms of race wins. He'll finally overtake Matej Kolnagi and Maciej Gladish to become the most successful race winner in SWC E3 history. But look how close Keanu Alazari is staying. 2.1 seconds. He's the only other driver that can get into the 136s. Igotzi's had a 136.2, Alazari's had a 136.4. Nobody else can even touch them. The next fastest lap is Thomas Strauven on a 137.1. That's how quick Igotzi and Alazari are today. Almost a second a lap faster. So expect these two to be continuing this kind of pace. It really would be a fabulous start to the season for James Igotzi, and particularly for Chiano Alazari, going from P8 to P2. But James Igotzi taking advantage of the Belgians struggling initially off the line and then later under pressure, as James Igotzi will lead home Alazari and René Lammers to complete a fabulous podium. And so the boy from Hollywood in Florida in the United States will get the job done here for the third time in E3 in the Spanish Winter Championships. James Igotzi wins with the brand new Dallara 326, scoring flying colours for Racecraft. Alazari second, Lammers is third from Thomas Strauven, Patrick Hosenreuter and Chris Elfagali in P6 from Yanis Stivaladens, Enzo Tarmanichkul, Alcif Feldman-Neto, and incredibly back into the top 10 comes Ian Eichmans. Sadly, Alex Powell dropped all the way back to P16 in the end after his fight back.
Thank you.
But boy, did we start in fantastic fashion with this new E3 car. And James Igotzi for Palou Motorsport starts the 2026 season victorious. His third win in the category, making him the most successful Spanish Winter Championship driver in the E3 class. His third win, more than anybody else now. And a great start for the American talent. Second place for the pink Alpine machine for the United Arab Emirates, Chiano Alazari. Great result from P8 to P2. Take that, everybody else. He means business in 2026, doesn't he? And when you consider that there's all sort of rumblings about Alpine's future, a lot of scrutiny about the number 2 seat at times beside Pierre Gasly, Chiano Alazari is well on his way to showcasing that he's got great potential. Well, track limits system is operating, so some of the results may change. That's what race control are telling us. René Lammers, though, should be able to hold on to the rookie victory and third position in his first Euro Cup 3 outing. Great drive from him as well, really fought beautifully there with Thomas Strauven to give himself a great position to get the job done. Great fight back from Ian Eichmans, but he'll feel gutted that pole position only rewards him with P10. And I think Alex Powell will be pretty sick to his stomach as well. Third on the grid, could easily have fought for the win in this one. As it is, he drops to P16. But this man, absolutely victorious. What an incredible drive for the team, named after the 4-time IndyCar champion and Indy 500 legend, Alex Palou. Who needs Formula 1, eh? This man's certainly thinking about it though. James Igotzi now becomes the most successful Euro Cup 3 driver in the Spanish Winter Championship, as the man from Hollywood in Florida gets the job done. Out of the car gets James Igotzi. What a start to 2026. He's happy with that, and so are the team. But look at Chiano Alazari to the right of your picture as well. They are jubilant with second place. And too right, when he started way back in 8th, that will feel like a win for the boy from Dubai. René Lammers does get a win. It's the rookie win in third position. What a great start here in Portimão. Great effort from James Igotzi. Great start. And that will do nicely as far as he's concerned. A really exciting situation for the youngster James Igotzi. Big battles coming his way this season, and he starts in fantastic fashion. He can be very, very happy indeed with the way this is going. And with a drive like that, it's hard to begrudge him the victory, isn't it? Really solid effort for James Igotzi. Chiano Alazari hasn't even got his helmet off yet. Still soaking it all up in second position. He's always reminded me in stature, demeanour and character of a young Rubens Barrichello. And after a drive like that, you can even say he drives as well as him. Fabulous racecraft from Keanu Alazari, really good performance. Easily one of the stars of the first race of E3 in 2026. Epic racecraft and really smooth on the tyres. Let's head down to Alex Garcia, who is going to have a conversation with the most successful E3 driver in the Spanish Winter Championship. James Igozzi, win number 3.
Exactly, James Igozzi, win number 3 in Spanish Winter Championship, which means that when it comes to Spanish Winter Championship, you're the most successful driver ever. Not a bad start, new color, new overalls, new trim, shinier, sparklier. How's life in red?
Yeah, very nice to be here in red, kind of like Alex Palou's car in IndyCar, some red and yellow. So yeah, super happy to be back. It's been a long winter break and really happy to start off the way we started. Obviously it's a long season, but couldn't have started better and really looking forward to the sprint race.
Were you expecting it?
Yeah, I was expecting a good start.
And then what can we expect from, of course, sprint race, completely different thing, and race to tomorrow?
Yeah, well on the sprint race I'll be P8 I think, so more cars to overtake on lap 1, so I'm actually really looking forward to it.
Will you have time to study Keanu's race? Because he came back from P8 to P2, so maybe something to look at?
I saw it in my mirrors and he did some good overtakes, so really happy for him as well. It's good to have him.
Good stuff, James. Time to enjoy. Good luck later.
Thank you very much.
Igozzi, race winner for this race 1 here in the Spanish Winter Championship Euro Cup 3. And we were joking just before coming live, because just before we started E4 race 1, he came to see us. He was very interested as well in the young drivers and in seeing how we got on. And, you know, we said, come on, good luck later, you know, enjoy the race. And then he was like, well, seems like we did enjoy it. We did enjoy that, and he absolutely did enjoy that race win. And as he said, happy for his good friend as well, Keanu Alazari. Another very, very, very impressive showing. And one to study if you want to come back from a bit of a further behind position in sprint race. So, Jake, I think that's one to inspire some of the top drivers in qualifying this morning, because they'll have to come back from P12 up to P1 or P2 or P3 if they want to get back into the podium.
Yeah, and of course the relationship between James Igozzi and Keanu Alazari goes back quite a few years actually. They were both racing for the Tony Kart factory team in karting as teammates growing up as children, so great to see how they've continued their friendship and their battles into Euro Cup 3. The provisional results on your screen, I do stress that they are provisional. Race control has already told us that there are some track limits infringements being investigated. But some very big losses there for a couple of drivers, particularly, of course, for Ian Eichmann's in 10th and Alex Powell all the way back in 12th. They deserved a lot more than that race gave them. We had a little bit of attrition, didn't we? But certainly the first signs, Alex Garcia, from the first race of the season in the new Dallara 326. All of the engineering work from Engineer 101, Toms, Dallara, Hancock and Cosworth. Boy, have they given us a meaty race car.
That is, I think, the most important. Let's not forget that, yes, beyond this being a race, which of course that's what we're here for, this is of course the first time that these cars are racing competitively. And it was very important to have the chance to test them, so to speak. As you were saying before the race started, drivers are being a little bit of doubling down as test drivers also. And this is something that Dallara always takes very seriously. And they tend to have people around as well with you know, who are here to talk to the drivers and who make sure that all this information that the drivers will be feeding back gets back to the factory back in Parma in Italy. And that's usually what you want with these drivers. They're going to be giving you feedback, not just in terms of reliability, but also in terms of what works, what doesn't work, what can be changed, if there are things that can be changed. And in that sense, I think these guys are the best test drivers ever that you could imagine. Quick drivers, hungry drivers, and those who will be pushing it to the limit, as we've seen. Yes, maybe a little bit too much of a safety car presence, but hey, it happens sometimes. Now we've just gotten all them out of the way, and hopefully for the next 2 races, less safety cars, if we can wish to the sky, and hopefully more race time.
But one thing I do want to pick up on before you have to depart, Alex, is that the two leading drivers, their best lap times were in the 136s. Nobody else could even get close to that. 137s from the rest of the pack. It shows that Igozzi and Alazari are the first drivers in race trim to really find the confidence with these cars. They're a full 0.8 of a second quicker than everybody else. There's a lot of homework to do, a lot of data that the drivers are going to be studying ahead of this afternoon's sprint race.
Yes, exactly, and this is something that, you know, teams and drivers are going to have to deal with, especially on those first few rounds of the Dallara 326 lifespan, which is some drivers are going to find the perfect or the right setup quicker, and because teams will not have all the information from previous years available, because that information is not valid anymore, having a good test day, having a good Friday with pre-practice will be crucial, because the faster you find that good baseline setup, the sooner you're going to be quick. And we've seen with these drivers, if they already had good test sessions, they had good free practices, and that's why they were quick. But those make a huge chunk of the differences that they get to the rest of the drivers. Doesn't mean the driver is not doing the job. In fact, I would argue that they are quicker to understand what the car needs to go quick, and that's why they were quick. But it is a mix of speed and also understanding what makes the car tick, so to speak. And so far we've seen that some of the teams have done a better job. Let's see if they can, get back a bit closer for the sprint race, and especially for tomorrow, because having an extra night of work, that'll be enough probably for the best teams to get back there. But let's see it tomorrow. New regulations, and in this case new car, always means that there could be a chance that a team that hasn't been so competitive in the last few years could suddenly get into the mix.
Indeed it could. Gracias, Alex Garcia. Great first race then in the E3 category here at Portimão as the drivers make their way to the rostrum. Below Motorsport picking up the team's prize, of course. The winning rookie on third on the podium, René Lammers. Great drive from him. Keanu Alazari, drive of the race without a shadow of a doubt. P8 to P2, and he looks as ecstatic as if he's just won the race, and rightly so. But the Star-Spangled Banner is on the top spot of the podium, not for the first time in Eurocup 3 of the Spanish Winter Championship. In fact, for the third time. James Igozzi, the winner again, this time in Portimão. Fabulous drive from James Igozzi and a great start to the SWC for both classes, E4 and E3, giving us a great race battle. Great cars, great drivers, fantastic racetrack. If you could ask me for one racetrack to have all of the races in the world take place on the same place, Portimão would absolutely have to be a candidate. Great win for the Below Motorsport team. A great rookie win for René Lammers. He can be happy with that. A great start to his campaign. I think he would have wanted a little bit more, but the good news is he's got two more chances this weekend. Second place for Keanu Alazari. That is going to feel like a win, and absolutely rightly so. What a comeback from Keanu Alazari. But James Igozzi, he may not have started on the front row of the grid, but he certainly made sure he was there at the end of it. From P5, fighting his way back to the victory. Great drive from the Polo superstar. Amazing to think, isn't it, that Campos and MP completely locked out the first two rows of the grid. Their highest car was third. Igozzi for Polo and Alazari for High-Tech, rewriting the form book after qualifying and giving the Dallara 326 an amazing debut here on the Autodromo Internacional Algarve. And so we get to celebrate in style. I tell you who really is going to enjoy the moment is Keanu Alazari. And to right, as the boys in E3 in the Spanish Winter Championship, race 1 here in Portimão will get a little bit busy with the fizzy. Alazari's gone for it. To right. Enjoy it. Enjoy the moment, Keanu. So it's a fabulous start to the campaign. There's another sprint race coming up today, and of course a full length distance race tomorrow as well. We've still got 2 races to come in E3 and E4 this afternoon. The sprint races will be a challenge. Only 18 points available for the race winners on those occasions. But certainly the headline so far in E3 and E4 of the Spanish Winter Championships is Portimão rocks. 2026 is amazing, and it's still unpredictable lap after lap after lap. From Alex Garcia and myself, Jake Sanson, we'll be back for more this afternoon when the battle resumes on the Algarve.
And we proceed now for the rookies prize-giving ceremony. The third position from Lebanon, driver team number 7, Christopher El Fedassi.